Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Happy that you're here. We've got the worst of the storm still yet to come, and some of you have been inundated with rains from just yesterday. We had multiple counties. I've lost count, but we've had a lot of counties, especially south and east of Knox County, with flood warnings. Flash flood warnings. That's going to continue, I'm sure, today. And it really began to expand after the live stream yesterday. Interesting. We may see that again develop today, where the rain may become more intense after, say, 8, 9 o'clock this morning. Visibility down to about, say, a mile in places like Madisonville. Down to about 3 miles in Morristown, you might be encountering some fog this morning. No wind to speak of in some areas where you see 0. 6 miles an hour at the airport, so we have an environment that's favorable for some fog development. But you'll notice the rain seems like it's on the east side of the state, far east, looking at the Tri-Cities. Think of this like a fire hose, right? The fireman, or fire lady in this case, is Helene. She's kind of aiming some of that rain from south to north. We had a stalling cold front yesterday. That was the reason we got the rain. Someone thought, well, if Helene's still in the Gulf, why are we getting this rain? Well, it's because we have an atmospheric traffic jam. And this is all going to continue to converge overhead. And you'll notice when we get to the cone that Knoxville is back in the cone. I can't tell you how many times people get focused so much on the cone, like, oh, I'm outside the cone, so it doesn't really affect me. Yeah, it does affect you because we're close to the cone. You could be spitting distance from the cone. You're going to feel the effects. Every bit of the effects of rain and wind we'll be watching here. So again, make note that the National Weather Service in Nashville has added, I should say. They're now on the playing field in places like Cumberland and Fentress County. This runs until 7 a.m. Saturday. But everybody else runs till 2 p.m. Friday. Wasn't this supposed to expire at 11 a.m. Thursday? It was. And as I said, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they extend it. Guess what? They extended and they expanded. They did a double down, right? Not only did they include more counties, but they went 2 p.m. Friday and as late as 7 a.m. Saturday if you're in Crossville and in Jamestown. So I just wanted to let you know flooding is still on the table. I think the worst of it is still ahead of us. And you might say, oh, it was really bad yesterday. Some of you had crazy amounts of 2, 3, 4 inches or more in some parts of the foothills and into the Smokies. And this may continue on in this path. We have currently 65 degrees at the airport, 67 in Oak Ridge. Very thankful that you're here this morning. Morristown 64. It is 62 in Crossville. If you've got a comment, you have an observation, we'd love to say hi to you. Fred's on here. Fred Wichebach says it's 68 degrees and rainy in Maryville. He's got more rain. We're going to look at the radar here in a moment. My friend Steve Stone, always optimistic, says a good morning with his sunshine. Happy face. Glad to see him there. As well as I got Needed 97 says thank you for keeping us updated. That's what I'm here for. Whether I'm working 16 or 18-hour days, believe me, I'm here. People say, you didn't know we're not in the cone? And I said, well, they're going to have to revisit that because I think we should be in the cone. Anyway, the rain sure poured down, says Wanda, here in Newport. Everyone, she says, she encourages everyone to be careful. We're going to look about the rain situation here in a moment. But thank you for being here. If you've got other observations, I will check back with the comments here in mere moments. Temperature is part of the story. We'll be lucky to hit 70 today. You mean we're only going to move like 5 degrees? Barely that. Some of us may just hold fairly steady. Our dew points are in the mid-60s, so you could add a little humidity, but it's going to go higher, that humidity will, once Helene makes her presence known. Temperature today, lucky to hit 70 in Knoxville. Lucky to hit 70 in Kingston, and I'm expecting high in Morristown of 70 degrees. I got some notes to share with you. We hit 72 yesterday, but that's misleading. That happened at 1:38 in the morning. Wee hours of the morning. So we spent most of yesterday in around 68, 69, 70. I think we'll be back there today. No big change. It's like a persistence forecast. We did break a record yesterday, not the kind you might expect. We had a record rainfall because all 365 days have a daily rainfall record. That's what we broke. We broke yesterday's daily rainfall record, which was 2.03 from 2000. We had 2.30. We had 2 1/3. 2.30 broke the record. That'll go on the books for 2024. We're now over 3.5 inches for the month, and we've picked up 0.15 since midnight this morning, so rain continues to be a factor. And if you're looking for the dry areas, who could use the most rain? You notice the coloring is disappearing in Johnson City, Kingsport. They've had so much rain they've made up for their 30-day deficit. Those areas in purple would suggest maybe 1/10 of an inch, but where it's red and orange, you're looking at 2 or 3 inches, where they could really use a drink of water in Decatur and Cleveland. And they'll get some. It'll come. but most of it's going to be heavy in the same areas that it was heavy yesterday. September high temperatures, you can see we had a cool day yesterday after a 4-day heat wave around this part of the world and this part of the country. We classify a heat wave as 3 or more consecutive days at 90, and we had that last Friday the 20th, last Saturday the 21st, and then our hottest day of the month came in on the first day of fall. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? 93 was the high on Sunday on the first day of autumn. Yesterday, again, 72 came in around 1:30 in the morning. Here's the radar picture. Where we have some flooding, we can obviously see in these burgundy areas, these burgundy polygons. They're back toward Mountain City. That runs till 10:15. In North Carolina, McDowell County, till 7 a.m. Don't be surprised if we start to see all this start to fill in here. Let me grab my telestrator. I believe I've got my orange pencil here. Maybe not. Let me just see what they're in here. You can see yellow here. But this is all going to start filling in. And I think this is really going to start filling in after this live stream is over. So we hit 8, 9 o'clock. And then people want to say, hey, this is coming down in buckets. I did a great video last night. Although I wasn't on camera, I could tell you this. The differences in cold rain and warm rain may surprise you. I encourage you, if you didn't watch that video last night, check it out. I don't have time to get into it today. But it's about the size of the raindrops and why it's more numerous and why the reflectivity won't necessarily, it's just showing a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. It's not going to go purple. It's not going to go intense because some of these drops are smaller, and you're going to find much more rain accumulating in a short period of time where we may see an expansion of the actual flash flood warnings. More on that in a moment. But Marcos.com, my sponsor from the Ultimate Doppler Radar. If you're hungry for some lunch plans before it gets too bad, because the winds pick up after dark tonight, Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville, Fountain City Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road got a great, magnificent pizza that they call the Pepperoni Magnifico for less than $10. Yummy. And we might want a Bozzoli for lunch. They're very filling. They're for less than $6. So very nice pepperoni and sausage. That's my favorite. And they're very filling. I will say that. It fills you up pretty quickly. Here's the radar picture. And we're going to get to the cone here for Helene, as this has changed since 5 o'clock this morning, or 4 o'clock Central, which is where this storm is in the Central time zone. But you can see it's pouring down in buckets around Augusta. It's coming down in buckets down to or just south of Macon. And we have more flash flooding going on in those little polygons that are burgundy in color. Fire danger in parts of South Dakota, out to the north and west, quiet in the Great Lakes, but clearly the big story is going to be down across the Gulf as they're bracing for catastrophic winds, storm surge in northern parts of Florida. It's not going to be a good scene there. If you got a comment, let me know. I want to say good morning to Danny. He's got a note. He says, sure hope you have a wonderful day. Go Vols. Thank you, Danny. Always appreciative of your notes. Kathy says good morning. She said, we had 6 inches of rain since Tuesday afternoon in Del Rio. Now, I'm so glad you posted that, Kathy, because she says, keep safe, everyone. Thanks for keeping us updated. My pleasure. Kathy, you are indicative. Some people, maybe west of Knoxville, maybe say Farragut, Hardin Valley, or maybe Oak Ridge, go, I didn't get that kind of rain. I didn't get 6 inches. That seems a bit extreme. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with your rain gauge? I know she's not. I know her rain gauge is fine. There were reports of 2, 3, 4, 5 inches or more, and it can make it very difficult. It's going to get worse in terms of the rainfall. Today, that's why I'm using the word torrential. I don't think in all the plus years I've been here since 2010, that I've ever used the word torrential. Text that word on my forecast, but that's what I'm doing today. It's what I did last night for today. We're now up to 3.71. If September, hypothetically, were to end at this very hour, which is ridiculous because it's the 26th. We have through Monday evening, right? But 3.71 is the actual total at McGee-Tyson, which is a far cry from 6 in Del Rio, but they've had more in the foothills and the Smokies. We've already exceeded the monthly average. Some of us thought we'd never get there because it was so slow. It was feast or famine. It was either no rain or now it's too much, turn off the faucet. But some of us will pick up another 3 to 6 inches of rain today and tomorrow, and you go, no way, that's insane. That would exceed October's entire amount, 2.81. Just do the math. The orange, excuse me, I'm so focused on orange. The green numbers, the 3.49 that's circled, the 2.81 in October, that's what, over 5, 6 inches? We're going to see that kind of rain come down in the next couple days. And you have one person to blame, in quotation marks. Her name is Helene. And if you haven't been introduced to Hurricane Helene, you might want to know where's she going. This is where she's now. She's got winds of 90. That's in the top box there underneath her name. This is going to be a Cat 3 now. They thought maybe a Category 4. But 3 or 4, it's still a major hurricane with winds around 115 midday today. Heads south of Macon. It's heading in the direction of Atlanta by the hurricane track now at 2 in the morning. That's when our winds pick up. I think we have the potential for gusts in Knoxville around 45, 50 after 2 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. And you could say that's late tonight, but it'll be a gradual increase. The winds are gradually going to increase after dark, and then after 2 a.m. Friday, hello, game on. We're talking winds maybe 45 to 50. And at the center of circulation, with the decaying hurricane maybe around Albany, Georgia, moves toward Atlanta. And look at this. Coinky dinky. Now Knoxville's back in the code. Oh, now I have reason to be concerned again. You should have always been concerned. Just because this little line moves back and forth, if you're like, I'm in Greenville, I'm fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're still going to feel every bit of the effects of this storm. Now, what might be a tropical depression with winds around 35 in Cookeville, but what the damage will be done. The Smokies will have gusts 70 plus. 70 plus, and that means power outages. You haven't had power outages. We've had the rain, but we haven't had the power. We're going to add an element. We're going to kick it up because our game is going to be a lot higher today. Game on, right? Once it moves west of Knoxville, it's going to dance in place. It's going to stall. We know what stall looks like. That was yesterday. It was stalled front. But this weekend, we're going to have a stalled Helene, and it's not going to be a pretty picture. But if you focus too much on the cone, then you might think, well, I'm in Morristown, I'm in White Pine, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll just carry on. It's going to be fine. My friends in Clinton will be problematic, but not in Morristown. That is hogwash. That is nonsense, and it's one thing that's probably the biggest detriment of having a cone. It's because people too often focus on just the line, and they don't focus on the whole pattern as a whole. You have to look at the big picture. This is the big picture. Got a Category 3 storm hitting Florida, and it will be decaying as it heads in the direction of your town and mine. Future wind shows another look at this at 6:52. Let me show you where the towns that are most likely to get hit the hardest. It looks like areas just south of Tallahassee, specifically around Perry. How many of you know where Perry, Florida is? That doesn't look too good for them. At a minimum, the orange areas would be a Category 1 hurricane, but could be Cat 2 or 3. As it makes landfall, it moves toward Macon, still holding a lot of its characteristics. The yellow areas would be tropical storm force winds, and they do move into the Smokies. Late tonight after 2 a.m. through 7 a.m. or more. 10 a.m. tomorrow could still be very windy. And if you want to know where it shows up in East Tennessee, Circulation Center looks like it's between Wartburg and Crossville. Oh, man, that's where I live. If that's where you live, you're in the cone. But if you think you're in Morristown, you're exempt. Look at Greenville. Greenville's yellow. So you've got tropical storm force winds in Greenville. That's a great example. Because somebody might say, I live in Greenville, I'll be fine. Well, I don't know if you'll be fine. You may be without power. Power outages may be occurring in Cosby and Greenville, even though you're not, quote unquote, in the cone. That's why, again, you've got to look at this as a whole picture. And this storm system, you can see, kind of dances in place in western Kentucky, and then we'll get some wraparound moisture here as we head into this weekend. High wind watch starts this evening, runs till 8 p.m. Friday. The Weather Service changed their language. They don't think 45 to 50 is sufficient. They go now up to 60 for the valley. Up to 60. I didn't get that memo. They updated that like early this morning. So up to 60. So 45 and 50 might be at a minimum, and 70 plus for the Smokies. I always encourage you to turn around, don't drown. I showed this yesterday before all this rain moved in, and people thought this is ridiculous. We're under a drought. Why would you show turn around, don't drown when we're under a drought? Are you just mean? No, I'm just foreseeing that this is going to happen, right? Some of you that were not under a warning will be under the warning today. Some of you that were under the flash flood warning yesterday will see a new warning issued. A new warning issued because it only takes 6 inches of rushing water to kick you off your feet. Let me show you what the future rainfall is showing. Again, these models do a terrible job with tropical weather. Tropical weather is a beast unto itself. But this would suggest another 2 or 3 inches or more. But given the fact it's tropical, it's going to be much higher than this. I just know from experience that that's going to be the case. And you can see some of those purple areas advancing, some red areas into the Smokies. That's 5 o'clock tomorrow. Another 2 or 3 inches. You say, I wouldn't know what to do. If you've already had 4 or 5, or in Kathy Muller's case, 6, what are you going to do with another 2 or 3 or 4? It's going to be much worse. And this suggests over 4 inches. Crossville, Wartburg, Jamestown. So all the things that you might think, well, I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I'm trying to tell you, it's probably going to be that bad. Some of you will have flooded basements, and you go, I don't have a basement. Some of you are going to have some flooded backyards. It's just part of the territory. Property damage is on the table. And look at that, 13. around Asheville. Some of the areas in white will be in western North Carolina. There's going to be a swath of about 6 to 12 inches of additional rain. Crazy, I know. Tropical Storm Isaac, this was the new storm. I was even debating whether to show this. It's moving away. But if you're keeping a score, keeping account of the names, this storm is moving away from us. Not going to be worrisome, but for those of you that watch it from a distance, you like to keep track of tropical weather, you may have Hurricane Isaac by 3 o'clock Saturday morning by the hurricane standards. And there's another patch of red, 80% chance that could become Joyce. That's in the middle of the Atlantic, so it's kind of moving in a different direction than would be Isaac. So we have Joyce, Kirk, Leslie on deck. We'll keep an eye on that. It is now 6:55. Lots of clouds today. Low clouds will be the issue, I think, in Cumberland County as well, but you'll find a gray day. Many of us will be crying either from tears of joy because you're getting the rain you prayed for, but maybe it's too much too fast, and that's my fear. This is as close to the equinox time as you might get. Like yesterday, it was like 7:27 sunrise, 7:28 was the sunset yesterday. Today it's 7:26, but equal day, equal night. When those times match, that's like an equinox, even though the quote-unquote equinox occurred astronomically last Sunday. Anyway, I digress. Bus stop forecast will have some periods of rain, clearly some downpours. I think the drive home will be more challenging as our winds will be generally 5 to 15 plus this afternoon and getting much stronger heading into tonight. Temperature 65 in Knoxville, 67 in Chattanooga. Checking in with your comments if you have a note. I'd love to say hi to you. Brandy is on here. Going to be a long drive to work from Wartburg to Farragut the next 2 days. Everyone stay safe. Please be safe on the road. And thank you for your comment, Brandy. Thank you for watching. I got another note from Kay. Human says good morning. Say good morning to you back. And then, of course, Marilyn says no water yet in our basement. But with all this rain, it's coming. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you very much, Marilyn. Of course, appreciate your help. Again, the models are only as good as the model data is ingesting. If the differences between cold rain and warm rain is a foreign concept, I encourage you, go back and watch my video last night. I wasn't even on camera because I was in the mood to just do a quick video, put it on the graphics, and it lasted me about 13 or 15 minutes. But you can fast forward to the part with tropical rains. Two-boy temperatures are in the mid-60s, but 70 dew point in Greensboro, and it's more humid with the onslaught of that rising Helene storm, Hurricane Helene. They got dew points in Columbia, South Carolina, in a very swampy 75. Here are my headlines here at 6:57. Tracking Helene today and Friday. Wind gusts 45 to 50. I want to be clear. That will be taking place after 2 a.m. in the Knoxville Valley area. May start much sooner than 2 a.m. for the Smokies. But leftovers of Helene will be arriving in this weekend with Sunday a little soggier than possibly Saturday. Temperature right now is 65 degrees. Relative humidity at 97%. Here's my valley planner. Notice the average high now is below 80. It's fallen to 79. So on a typical day, I wouldn't say normal day, well, you could say that, average day would be 79 here on the 26th of September. But we'll be lucky to hit 70, kind of like a flat line temperature, doesn't move much. Torrential rain, there it is. Not a word I use lightly, and certainly not a word that I've used very often at all in forecasting. But 100% chance of rain today, and more flooding possible? No. More flooding expected. I just went ahead and said, let's just call it expected. More flooding will occur somewhere in East Tennessee today, tonight, and tomorrow. Got a 100% chance today, 80% chance tomorrow. The sun will pop out tomorrow as the storm heads toward Kentucky. But then as we see it going back to Bowling Green, Paducah, it'll come back do-si-do around, and we'll see more rain on Sunday, 60% chance then. Storm Prediction Center talking about some green and yellow colors, even some orange. The question invariably comes up, where's the tornado threat today? Looks like it's going to be an orange in Savannah, Tybee Island, Charleston, maybe even Myrtle Beach, possibility. Scattered severe storms in Wilmington, North Carolina, and down toward Orlando and Tampa because of Helene. Now, we're not expecting severe storms today, but there will be general thunderstorms possibility today. And then tomorrow, based on the track, based on the circulation center, our friends at the Storm Prediction Center puts that tornado threat, scattered severe storms in yellow, around Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, Greenville, Jacksonville, and around Winston-Salem. And it does include parts of Tennessee. Looks like they've now taken Knoxville out of that risk and put it squarely over Johnson City and Kingsport. So there could be an isolated spin-up, maybe east of Morristown, if this map were to verify. Chance of severe weather on Saturday diminishes dramatically to 0. with some general thunderstorms in Florida. That would be about it. But Saturday looks like a quiet day. I have just a 30% chance of some passing showers, but most of it will swing back in on Sunday. Here's another look at this stalled front. This is why we got so much rain yesterday. It was not necessarily related to Helene, but you could connect the dots that everything in the atmosphere is interconnected. So the reason it stalled is because of Helene, in part. As this hurricane decays, it moves squarely over East Tennessee. Looks like it could be right over Knoxville. Maybe it's over Spring City. Maybe it's over Wartburg. These are things we need to watch. Low pressure by midday tomorrow would put it right over us. Then the wraparound winds, still very gusty tomorrow, very windy. And then do-si-do, here come more rain showers spinning in. If not Saturday, I think the better chance will be on Sunday, because this front's going to figure out a way to kind of slow down and stall even to our north and west. Over the weekend, we'll have another round, I think, Sunday. So it is now 7 o'clock. Time for your forecast. 70, there's that big word, torrential. Well, that's a pretty confident thing to say. Well, look, I don't like to be the messenger of this type of weather. I really don't. I'd love to say it's going to be sunny in 70, but that would be irresponsible and not true. It's going to be torrential rain in 70, and that's, again, if we're lucky. Some of us may not even get out of the upper 60s with storm. Winds 5 to 15, they'll pick up this evening. Today, a high of 69 in Oak Ridge. I expect 73 for Newport and 70 for our friends in Crossville in Cumberland County. About 70 for Knoxville, Carnes, 74 for Chattanooga. Those are my expectations as far as traveling. Be extra careful. Let's see here. We got Lana Johnson. She has a note, I guess more of a interesting note. She's had tornado warnings now in Polk County, Florida. Yeah, it's going to get worse for them, no doubt. And I got a good morning from our friend Diane Ladyhawk. She's got the sunshine, I guess, optimistic thinking, but she is always optimistic and very supportive of Captain Accurate Weather. But tonight we're down to, 65? Yeah, 65 for tonight. Rain and storms may become more intense, and I do have that gust of 45, 50 coming in after 2 in the morning, but it will be 10 to 20 plus for the evening. 64 for low in Newport. 62 in Oneida, 60 degrees in Crossville. Those are my low temperatures expected tonight. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. We got Helene coming to town. Whether she's welcomed or not, she's going to swing by and say hello. Flooding possible again on Friday, very windy. 78 on Saturday, few storms, showers and storms on Sunday, and you can see we're kind of consistent. But the dry day, the one, you remember the dry day? You know what the dry day was the day that everybody was hoping, I wish we could get rid of these dry days. We need some rain. And now that we're getting the rain, it's coming down too fast, too furious. It's kind of like it is at the beach. I say this all the time. You go to the beach, is it low tide or high tide? The answer is yes. Depends on what time of the day you're there, right? And then you pick out the time of the day that you're going to be out and about. If you're going to be out and about today, tonight, tomorrow, you're going to have some challenges getting to work or school. But if you're going to be out and about, say, next Wednesday, you're going to look forward to a mostly sunny day that starts in the upper 50s. That's comfortable. And more likely in the upper 70s for Wednesday afternoon. Of course, I'll revisit this coming up. I really encourage you to download my free Captain Accurate Weather app. Not only do you get weather, but you get traffic. And in this type of situation, where flooded roads could be, flooded roads might be an issue where you are or where you're going. So getting Pete Michaels' traffic on the app, you don't have to wait for the radio station to play it. Just tap the square rectangle on the app, and his voice will appear, or his team. Sherry Bigler is one of the team members, but you'll get those traffic reports right on the app. It's free. You get 3 extra alerts from Barron. You also get exclusive alerts as well, and you get lightning alerts. And if you want some extra information, did you know that my premium members are going to be receiving my winter weather outlook soon? Because once Helene gets out of here, we're going to open the door for some cooler, if not chillier air. Oh, I'm excited about that. Beyond the next 7 days, that's our focus. My premium members knew about this storm long before I started posting it publicly. They were prepared back, I'd say, at least from Sunday. I was talking about the intensity of this storm as it approached Florida. You are the first to see all forecasts, my snow forecast. You get fewer ads. You get more Facebook Lives, typically on a Sunday. That equals 4 in a month. So 4 extra Facebook Lives in a month, fewer ads, all for $4.99 a month. It's a bargain, the best deal in East Tennessee, especially if you're going to be dealing with power outages in some cases this week, in the next day or two, maybe today. Maybe you've got other plans down the road and you want to plan a fall break vacation. Wouldn't it be nice to know what the weather's going to be doing? These are things that might have value to you. It's only 16 cents a day. That's $4.99 a month. Just click the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button on my Facebook page, and you can always sample us and cancel at any time. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take the umbrella if that can help, but stay dry as best you can. Take care.